Enika was a beautiful girl, with skin that shimmered like moonlight and eyes as dark as the deepest river pools. But beneath her beauty, a secret lay hidden, one whispered only in the shadows. Enika was not just a girl, she was a serpent, born of a mysterious curse that linked her to the spirits of the wild. By day, she walked as a human among the villagers, but by night, her body would transform, scales sliding over her skin as she became the serpent. The curse had been placed upon her family generations ago, punishment for their ancestors' greed and cruelty. The serpent within Enika was not just a symbol of her cursed bloodline but a living embodiment of vengeance and deceit. Though she longed for freedom, the darkness within her heart grew each day, as the serpent whispered promises of power and control. The people of the village adored Enika, unaware of her true nature. Her charm and beauty drew many admirers, but Enika never truly cared for their affection. Instead, she saw them as pawns in her growing thirst for power. She befriended the chief's son, Tond, and soon gained his trust. Tond was young, kind-hearted, and loved Enika deeply, unaware of the dark cloud that followed her. One fateful evening, Enika stood by the river, her transformation nearing as the moon rose. Tond approached her, his face glowing with love. "Enika," he said, "tomorrow, I shall ask for your hand in marriage. I want us to be together forever." For a moment, the serpent within Enika stirred, its venomous desires growing stronger. The power she could wield as the wife of the chief's son was tantalizing, but it was not enough. The serpent wanted more. That night, as Enika transformed into her true form, the serpent whispered its wicked plan. It told her that if she were to take Tond's life, she would break the curse, and the serpent's power would be hers forever. Blinded by ambition, Enika gave in to the serpent's demands. The next evening, as the village gathered for a celebration in honor of Tond's future engagement, Enika led him into the forest, away from the crowd. The moonlight danced through the trees as she whispered sweet promises of eternal love. But in the shadow of those ancient trees, her heart turned cold. Without hesitation, Enika struck. Her body shifted, scales glistening as she wrapped herself around Tond. His eyes widened in shock and pain as the life drained from him. But as Enika watched the light leave his eyes, something went terribly wrong. Instead of feeling the freedom and power she had been promised, an unbearable pain ripped through her body. The curse, awakened by her wickedness, had been waiting for this moment. Her betrayer had sealed her fate. As she writhed in agony, Enika's serpent form began to consume her. Her human features melted away as she became nothing more than a monstrous snake, larger and more terrifying than before. She had believed the serpent would free her, but instead, it claimed her entirely, forever bound to the darkest parts of her soul. The villagers soon discovered Tond's lifeless body in the forest, and their grief turned to anger. They knew now what Enika truly was. Armed with torches and weapons, they hunted her down. But the Enika they had once known was gone. All that remained was the serpent, cold and heartless, hiding in the depths of the forest. As the villagers drove her into the mountains, Enika's cries could be heard for miles, but there was no redemption for her. Her greed, her cruelty, and her desire for power had led her to betray the one person who had ever truly loved her. In the end, the serpent, cursed by its own wickedness, was forever doomed to wander the wilderness, alone and feared by all. Enika, the girl who had once been loved, was lost to the darkness she had chosen. And her story became a warning, passed down through generations, a tale of how wickedness consumes and leaves nothing but tragedy in its wake. The villagers would often tell their children, "Beware the serpent in the night, for it carries the weight of betrayal and the burden of a heart filled with wickedness."